Welcome to the very first episode of An Evening with Cora. So for the next half an hour, you don't have to do anything. You're going to sit down, relax, and meet my guest. So I'm really excited to have my first guest on this week. We have been friends for a long time, and I've been a fan of his for a long time as well. So I'm going to welcome you to Matt from Somewhere in the Wildwood. Hey Matt, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. I feel very privileged to be here for the first episode of An Evening with Cora. I feel very privileged indeed.
Oh, and I'm very excited to have you. So thank you for being involved in my very
Hey, thank
first one.
you.
So I'm going to just ask a few questions. I did ask our audience what they might like to hear from our new artists. So I have a couple of questions here for you. So first one, everyone wants to know this, of course. How did you come up with the name Somewhere in the Wildwood?
So a wildwood is an area of the forest or woodland that is left to kind of just grow freely, and it's very overgrown and all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of saw that as a bit of um, I guess I saw it as a way to describe like my mental health almost, which is what I'm trying to um, put across with my music, is talk about mental health a lot and the things that I deal with. And yeah, so a wildwood, I kind of saw my mental health as that, that sometimes it's a little bit messy, your brain is a little bit all over the place and can be a bit, you know, clouded and misty sometimes, but somewhere within that is the things that you're looking for, that creative spark or the solace that you're seeking, and so yeah, Somewhere in the Wildwood became the name.
I love it. And I love what it stands for, and I love what you're standing for as well. Like, a lot of people struggle with their mental health, right? So that's really awesome that you're turning that struggle that you have into something really creative and having that message for other people. And it inspires people, it really does. So I really love
I,
that. So that's
yeah,
amazing.
I haven't always
Um,
been so open with the mental health, but I think it's very important to, obviously, especially at the moment, because everyone's struggling, and it seems important to be as open as possible, even though that may be a little bit difficult to do for myself and all of us, really.
yeah, I think it's important that more people speak out about it, as you say, because then it helps other people to be able to then feel more comfortable about speaking about it, I think. It is
Yeah,
a hard thing to kind of speak about, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Thank you for that. And how long have you been writing for, writing music?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I got my first guitar when I was like 13, I think, 12 or 13. I was in secondary school, and I got a like black. It was like what was it called? It was like a rip off of like a kind of Fender Strat. Like, it was all
Yeah.
black, and it was a cheap guitar. I think it was like £150 or something like that. And I
Yeah.
had absolute no idea how to play it. Um, and just wanted to like sing punk rock songs, really, and play punk rock music, and played punk rock music for a long time, like maybe 10 years or so, I suppose, playing in punk rock bands and emo bands and things like that. And then picked up the guitar, because then I didn't have to rely, the acoustic guitar rather, because then I didn't have to rely on anyone else to show up to band practices except myself.
Yeah.
so so they started playing the acoustic guitar and playing like country music and then folk music and then playing the banjo as well. So yeah, I think I've been playing music for about 15, 16 years, I suppose.
Wow. Long
Time.
time.
Yeah.
Well, it shows in your playing, your songwriting. Like, it really does show that you've been doing it a while. That's one thing I forget. Starting as a songwriter only a few years ago, it's like looking at people like yourself who have been writing for, 15 to 20 years. And then I kind of look at you and go, oh, I'm not that good. But
Oh no.
it's like remembering you've been doing this a long time, and there's room for improvement for everyone, but you definitely
Yeah,
like
definitely.
amazing.
And I feel like I'm not even in the place I fully want to be yet. I think it's been a
Yeah.
journey, and that's what the music is all about, isn't it, really? It's a journey from, point A to point B, but then there's lots of zigzags along the way to be able to get there. And God knows that my early music was absolutely horrendous. Take your own opinions from what you think it is now, but at the time, it was absolutely horrendous when I first started out.
We're talking about bad songs. Let's talk about the favourite song. So, what is your most favourite song that you've ever written?
Ooh, I think that's really difficult in terms of just all music that I've ever written, or is in terms of just the Somewhere in the Wildwood writing.
Let's talk about Summer in the Wildwood as you're here with that today.
Okay, I think my favourite Somewhere in the Wildwood song is probably a song called 58, which I wrote all over the place, really. I mean, it started in Berlin, started writing it in Berlin. Then what did I start in? No, I started it in the Netherlands, actually.
Oh,
So
cool.
I started in a place called Utrecht in the Netherlands, where I saw one of my favourite singers play the tallest mountain on earth.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so I started writing it there. Then I came back and kind of touched it up a little bit when I went to stay with some friends in Birmingham. So just changing some of the verses around and bits and pieces. And then it kind of took shape in my hometown of Portsmouth, and then kind of got fully finished in Berlin last year at the beginning of sort of February when I was out there playing music and stuff. So it went on quite a metaphorical and physical journey. So
Wow.
yeah, that song I think is my favourite song.
Are we going to get to hear that tonight?
I don't think I actually am gonna play it tonight. I'm gonna play.
Okay.
That was my most recent single was 58, which is on streaming and stuff now. But my next single, which comes out on the 21st, is Beautiful Songs, which is probably tied for being my favourite Somewhere in the Wildwood song, to be honest. And it's coming up for a year that I finished writing that song. I finished writing that in lockdown last year, so it's pretty much coming out on the date that I wrote it a year down the line, which is really fun.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna play that one.
Oh, yay, we get to hear that. That's amazing. And yeah, so talking about your new EP, Beautiful Songs, I'd like to know how that came about. Like, what was the premise and how was it birthed? Like, what, yeah, talk us through that.
Okay, so I when I first started the Summer in the Wildwood project, which is in like 2019, at the end of 2019, I went into the studio and like recorded a couple of tracks, and I was in a very specific headspace when I went into the studio and recorded those. It was just me and the acoustic guitar, and I was pretty happy with them. But I always heard, bits and pieces in my head when listening to them, like, oh, I could hear some strings here or some harmonies here and stuff like that. Very much still being a solo project, but just the songs being heightened by other musicianship.
Yeah.
And so when lockdown started, I kind of realized that I was going to like struggle mental health wise and wanted to make sure that I kept creative and all that kind of stuff. So I bought a little microphone that plugs into the side of my phone, which is the Shure MB88. It's like 120 quid microphone. It plugs in, and I thought at least I'll have some some piece of equipment to record a little bit better audio,
Yeah.
to record some demos and stuff to have when I'm ready to go back into a full-fledged studio. That then became recording some demos with other people. So Megan Limford, one of my best friends in the world, she recorded some vocals for one of the demos, and my dear friend Mel Maloney, who plays violin, she recorded some stuff at home, and a friend of mine, Hannah Kane, who plays under the name Gecko and the Bee, we met on like a virtual music festival, and she recorded some stuff for me as well, and the demos kind of became a tangible thing, I guess. I released like two demos, and people seem to respond to them really well. And I thought, well, actually, I can just record this stuff at home, and it's kind of kind of an example of the time, I suppose. The time that we're living in, that we're in lockdown and we can't get to the studios and we can't be together and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was a really good representation of the time that we were living in. And then I just decided to expand it into a full EP, really, and recorded like 6 tracks, and got my friend Johnny Elstone to mix it. He's from a band called Me and the Moon, and got some other people to play trumpet and cello, and it's recorded with all manner of equipment, from iPhones to Android phones to decent microphones to anything that people had on hand. And I think that's the thing that I love most about it, is that it's a really honest, raw interpretation of the music. It's about, as I say, a moment in time. And I think that's what folk music has always been about, are these songs that have been passed down through generations, and they're, you know, scratchy recordings on a vinyl or a cassette deck, stuff like that. And that's always inspired me, like how people can be creative in these times, and in devastating times, and in times when they have no money and everything like that. And I was inspired by people like Bruce Springsteen. My friend Dan Ogus brought up a Bruce Springsteen record to me, which, you know, is called Nebraska, and Bruce recorded the songs on like a little tape deck, and took it to the company, took it to the label, and wanted to record it with the band. But when he tried to record these demos with the band, it just didn't have the same sort of feel.
Right.
And so he just released them as they were. And I think that's a really great thing. Not that I'm comparing myself to Bruce Springsteen, but that's what I think. Just doing whatever you've got on hand.
Yeah.
Because art, and that's what art is all about, isn't it? Really, is about it being raw and not being about money and all that kind of stuff. It's about, you know, honesty and all that. So yeah, I think that's what the record is about. Hopefully that answers the question. I feel like I rambled a bit there.
Such an extensive answer. That was brilliant. Yeah, I love it.
So now it's an EP. Now it's an actual thing. So there you go.
Exactly, like just the way you explained how you pieced it all together. And isn't it amazing, like even though we've had this difficult year in lockdown, like we've got this technology to be able to connect with each other, record something and create this piece of art, as you say.
Yeah, exactly, which is amazing. And we're so fortunate to be able to live in the time when we can connect and do things like this, even, you know, talk over the internet about recording an EP that I recorded over the internet, you know, with people I've never met before, some people I've never even like spoken to on the phone before. And I think it's very important that it had all the cracks and creaks and not so perfect notes and all that kind of stuff. And there was a real famous John Peel quote where, you know, someone was saying to him that they didn't like vinyl because it had like surface noise, it had all these crackles. And John Peel said, mate, life has got surface noise. And I think that's what this is about. It's got surface noise, and life does have surface noise. It's mental health issues, and, you know, not having money and not being able to eat the next day, or figuring out where the next, you know, paycheck's coming from because you can't be put on furlough or something like that. You know, it's like all of these things make up what this record is about, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, I think it's time to hear some of it. If you don't mind, that would be amazing. So I'm going to leave you to the screen, and I'm going to mute myself so we can hear some amazing songs from Somewhere in the Wildwood. Here we go.
Okay, so this is a song that I'm putting out on the 21st of March as my next single. It's the title track from the EP, and it's called Beautiful Songs, and I hope you like it. Broken hearted on a cold October morn, muddy coffee in a paper cup, cause I barely had much sleep. You've been giving me the reasons and the whys, oh, but it's hard to find any solace in the truth. All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done, did it really have to go on for so long? My dear, I've loved and I have lost, and now that the summer sun is gone and the winter chill has surely settled in, the city's framed by the memories we made. Oh, and it's hard to explain how I'm so beholden to the pain All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done didn't really have to go on for so long. All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done, did it really have to go on for so long? All of these beautiful songs were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done, did it really have to go on for so long? All of these beautiful songs, yeah, were written about you, and all of this aching that I've done, did it really have to go on for so long? That is the next single from my EP, Beautiful Songs, and the track is called Beautiful Songs. Now I'm going to play a brand new song for you. I'm still writing, still trying to put new music together whenever I can, and I think this will probably be for a new EP at some point in the future. And this is a song called Berlin, and it's about some time that I spent in Berlin. I caught the U-Bahn to the edge of town, where I sung my songs in the bars every night. How'd I find myself in Berlin, drinking to forget? Life ain't stopped surprising me yet. This city has a hold of my aching heart. Some things will never be the same, that's alright. You ain't easy to forget, but I think of all the times ahead. Life ain't stopped surprising me yet. Just say no. Hot coffee healing me on a cold winter's morn. Time in exchange for songs of heartache and forlorn. You're out smoking a cigarette, I'm so lost, my head's a mess. Life ain't stopped surprising me yet. And if I hide, maybe I'll find a little courage this time to just say no. And That's a song called Berlin. I hope you liked it.
I feel like I need to have all of the applause. Give you all of the applause. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm not worthy. I'm not. That was incredible. I have had the pleasure of listening to those songs on your EP, and I loved them the first time I listened to them. And just watching you play them is just. I was gonna cry, and I was like, "I've got makeup on. Don't do it." But yeah, they're beautiful songs. Thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. And tell us, where can we get these songs? How can we get your EP?
So you can get the EP exclusively on Bandcamp. So, that's kind of the best place right now for smaller artists to make money from the art that they're producing. So it's www.somewhereinthewildwood.bandcamp.com. So you can get the whole 6 tracks there. It's not like completely on streaming at the moment. There is a track up on Spotify at the moment and Apple Music and all that kind of stuff. And there's another one coming out, as I say, on the 21st of March, which is Beautiful Songs. And you can also find me on Instagram at SITWmusic and facebook.com/Somewhere in the Wildwood.
Yes, there will be links that I would be sharing with everyone as well, so that you can just click the link. But yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Also, repping the t-shirt. Do you still have
Yes,
t-shirts?
love it. Thank you so much. I love
I
it.
love the t-shirt. I love a good oversized white t-shirt, and this is just like really gorgeous artwork as well. So I'm loving that. Just to see us out then, I would love to just ask you if you could give one piece of advice to the people out there watching about anything. It could be music related, whatever you want. What would that one piece of advice be?
I think in terms of music, but also I guess life in general, I think is just to be honest and upfront with what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're saying, really, and not be afraid to be vulnerable about that kind of thing. I think that's it. Not to be afraid to be vulnerable, especially in writing music, because you're putting something out there which is obviously very close to you, close to your heart, and I think you eventually realize that other people out there can connect with that and on some level find some truth within it in their own experiences and their own circumstances. So I think it's very important to be vulnerable and be like, this is me, this is what I felt, what I'm feeling, what I've been through. It may not be perfect. I might not have been perfect. I might not be perfect now, but we're all progressing and creating and becoming different versions of ourselves and improving all of the time. So the vulnerability is the thing that helps us to create wonderful art and to become a wonderful person and people and all that kind of thing. So yeah, don't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Yes, I'm feeling that. Making me so emotional. Yeah. Literally. Oh, that's amazing. I think everyone, thank you for watching and thank you for meeting Somewhere in the Wildwood, Matt, or Matt from Somewhere in the Wildwood, maybe that way round. But go follow him, go buy his EP, go and support small artists, independent artists, because at the moment that's really important. And thank you for being here, Matt. I'm just going to see us all out, but it's been lovely having you. Thank you so much.
Having me.
No, you're welcome. So I'm just going to see us out. So I want to thank you for watching, firstly. But I came talking about with Matt mental health. I saw this earlier, and I wanted to share it with you. I saw this on Instagram. It was a quote, I guess, and it said, "Battling with your mind every day is so tiring, but trust me, it does get better, and you can show the world that surviving can be beautiful." Oh, I was like, oh. So I wanted to share that with you today. So I hope that can resonate with you. I hope you've enjoyed meeting Somewhere in the Wildwood and enjoyed the music, and have a fantastic week. Until next week. Bye bye.